Liverpool and Newcastle, they just delivered an early game of the season contender in game week 2 last night, guys. At St. James's Park, Liverpool and Newcastle played out a Premier League classic for the ages, guys. The game ended 3-2. This game had everything from red cards to comebacks to late winners. This game had everything, guys. This was legitimately a serious contender for game of the season, and this is just only game week 2. This is why we love the Premier League, guys. This is exactly why we love the Premier League, because it's only the Premier League that can give you such drama, such intrigue. At some point in that game, it seemed as if Liverpool were going to walk away with the 3 points comfortably. Well, I know eventually they did walk away with the 3 points in the end, but it wasn't easy. Newcastle never made it easy for them. And I know part of their motivation has to be the fact that Isak has been pushing for a move to Liverpool all summer, guys. Well, over the years, Liverpool and Newcastle matches, especially at St. James's Park, they always deliver. Like, they are always instant classics. But last night's own, there was extra motivation for Newcastle because this is the league champions here in town, and they want their best player. Their best player wants to join Liverpool. So there was that extra incentive. There was that added motivation from Newcastle's part because they really wanted to put off a fight, and you could clearly see that because at some point they went down to 10 men after Anthony Gordon was sent off for a very serious foul play on Virgil van Dijk, and it was clearly a red card. And after initially the referee gave a yellow card to Gordon, but after consulting his pitch side monitor, he decided to give a red card justifiably to Anthony Gordon, and Newcastle were down to 10 men. And at that point, they were already trailing by 1 goal because Ryan Gravenberch, coming back from injury, I think he made his first start of the season for Liverpool, and he started slow. He looked rusty. You could see that Gravenberch was still trying to find his feet this season because, of course, it was his first match of the season, but he scored a cracker from outside the penalty area. That is what good players do, guys. They have that quality. The class is always permanent, whether they are coming back from injury or whether they are coming back from a long time out. Once they get back on that pitch, the class is always permanent. Form may be temporary, but class is always permanent, and we saw that from Gravenberch. A brilliant strike from the edge of the penalty area. He left Nick Pope with no chance. Nick Pope could do absolutely nothing about it. It was slightly helped by a deflection, but it was a beautiful goal, and Liverpool were in front. They were in front by 1 goal, and they were in front by 1 man as well because Gordon had been sent off. And you would think that, oh, Liverpool are going to obliterate Newcastle here. And we thought that was exactly what was going to happen because early in the second half, Hugo Ekitike, my boy Hugo, he scored again for Liverpool. Yet another game, yet another goal from Hugo Ekitike for Liverpool. This is now 3 goals in 3 competitive games for Liverpool. He scored in the Community Shield, he scored on the opening week against Bournemouth, and last night again he scored at St. James's Park against Newcastle. Newcastle pursued him all summer as well. They really wanted to sign Hugo Ekitike, but of course Liverpool won the race for Ekitike, and he punished Newcastle last night because he made it 2-0 for Liverpool, and at that point it seemed as if Liverpool were going to run away with it, guys. I legitimately thought that Liverpool were going to run away with it. But the Premier League once again delivered because Newcastle, they fought back with 10 men. They fought back with 10 men, guys. You don't know how difficult this is. If you don't play football, you don't know how difficult it is to fight back with 10 men in a game, especially against a team like Liverpool. Newcastle did that. They came back and they made it 2-1 first of all. Bruno Guimaraes with the first goal for Newcastle, he made it 2-1, and then there was a substitution from Eddie Howe. He brought in a striker at last. He brought in Osula, and in the 87th minute, Osula, he found space in behind Liverpool's defense, and he slotted the ball past Alisson for 2-2, and St. James's Park was rocking. Newcastle, they had clawed their way back from 2-0 down to make it 2-2. At that point, they were the better side. Like, with 10 men, Newcastle were legitimately pushing for the winner. Like, Liverpool were rattled. You could see it in their faces that Liverpool were rattled. Newcastle seemed very confident they were going for it, guys. They could easily have won this game. But this is football, guys. Somehow, that champions mentality, it always comes to the fore, especially when teams like Liverpool are involved, because we saw that in the last few minutes of the game, after Newcastle thought that they had snatched the point, Liverpool showed their class once again, and it was a debut goal from teenager Rio Ngumoha, a 16-year-old. He scored his very first Premier League goal for Liverpool on his Premier League debut at a ground like St. James's Park. You couldn't have written this story any better. It was a brilliant cross from the right-hand side, and it was an even more brilliant dummy by Dominic Szoboszlai. He left the ball, and the ball ran all the way to Ngumoha, who had only Nick Pope to beat, and he made no mistake with the finish, guys. At 16-year-old, such composure in such a feisty atmosphere, guys. This guy has to be one to look out for. He left Chelsea's academy when he was much younger, and he joined Liverpool. So I think he's showing promising signs here. We saw how good he was in pre-season for an slot side, and he has had a dream start to his Premier League career. Scoring on your debut off the bench against Newcastle at St. James's Park. You cannot write this story any better. So last night we witnessed a Premier League classic for the ages between two great sides, two teams that always deliver when they come head to head, and we saw that yet again last night. But what did we learn last night again? Liverpool's defense are still woeful, guys. Liverpool defense, they concede goals so easily. Imagine being down to 10 men and Newcastle were able to claw their way back to make it 2-2 before Liverpool stole it at the end. We saw a similar pattern in their opening day win against Bournemouth. They were leading 2-0. Bournemouth were able to make it 2-2 before they stole it at the end. Now, one thing about Liverpool is their attack is very good. Their attack is very sharp. Most times they will be able to outscore teams. But then again, it begs the question, are they always going to be able to outscore teams? Because when you look at their other title contenders, I think this season Liverpool's main contenders have to be Arsenal, with what they've done in the last few years and what they have done in the transfer market this summer. Liverpool's main contenders for the title have to be Arsenal. Maybe at some point the likes of City and Chelsea will come into the conversation, but with what we've seen so far, Man City are not going to be consistent this season, because what we saw against Tottenham, it wasn't encouraging at all. And from Chelsea, you never really know what to expect from Chelsea. I don't want to talk about Manchester United because, with all due respect, they are not even in the conversation for the title race, guys. So I think the title this season has to be between Liverpool and Arsenal. And in the first two games, Liverpool have shown us that defensively they are fragile, even though they are very good going forward. Arsenal, on the other hand, you could see that defensively they have even been more solid than they were last season. They have not conceded a goal in 2 games so far this season. And for Liverpool now, we've seen the same pattern in their 2 games, leading 2-0 and then giving up a 2-goal lead only to win it late in the end. Are they going to be able to sustain such a risky strategy as the season unfolds? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. But until then, adios.